Welcome to Inquiry Theory. I'm Micah.
And I'm Ethan.
Today we're going to talk about the mainstream media.
The mainstream.
Yeah, fun stuff. You know, the news, television, newspapers, stuff like that.
Yeah. Stuff that nobody watches or reads anymore.
Right? The ones that are floundering.
Right. Yep.
Going belly up.
Talk about maybe why they're floundering.
Yeah, just, going a little bit of detail of that. So, in case you can't tell from how we are talking, I don't think we really like the mainstream media much.
I don't like what it is now.
Yes.
No, I don't know. I don't like it. No. I like the idea of it. I like the potential that it has to share information with people. I don't like how they're doing it or what information they're sharing necessarily. Yeah.
I remember hearing about what the news was from like my parents, like way back when they were kids, and they're like, then you had the news, you had like 3 channels. 10 o'clock rolls around, or 9 o'clock, they do their ending broadcast, play the national anthem, and then all the television stations just cut.
Yeah, it went to that,
static.
What is that, like static, the poltergeist or whatever.
Yeah, so like, it wasn't this like crazy, never-ending cycle where they just got to keep out churning stuff out.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, okay, let's be honest. I mean, it's the media. Their goal is to get people to watch, because how are they funded? Ads, and ads need people to watch them. So, yeah, I mean, it's just a small, tiny bite we're taking into this. There's quite a bit of issues, I feel like.
Well, yeah, I mean, now that like each channel has like dedicated news channels where it's literally straight news all day.
Yeah.
Right, and they have different like hour-long segments of different people, shows called different things, but they're talking about all the same stuff over and over again all day. You know, and it's actually kind of annoying, but
yeah. So, excuse me. I think one of the big things with mainstream media is the realization that there's, I think, these news outlets have moved away. They've been swayed away from just reporting facts to trying to portray stuff in a way that gets people to either agree or think a certain way. You know, like they're presenting information, but the way they present it and the data they show and the way they talk about it and the language they use and you watch it and I feel like people at the end of it go, oh man, I should feel this way. Like whatever it is, like, you know, I should be feeling this way towards that. And it's I don't like that. I want it to be, here's the news, here's the facts. Here you go. You think about it. You come up with what you think.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. I don't know. You guys let us know if I'm just crazy, like if that's not what the media is at all. But that's why I feel like it is.
Well, I mean, it seems like it's definitely that way a lot of the times. Like, I mean, think about the fires in California versus the floods in North Carolina.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like, just think about that topic.
Like the coverage,
for example. Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, I completely forgot the hurricanes even happened, you know. Like, sorry, you know, I got my own stuff going on, but like there's stuff about the fires on every single day.
God forbid you forget about the fires.
Right.
Hey, did you hear about the Palisade fires?
And I don't know why. Like, I'm sure there's multiple reasons that they would choose to cover the fires over the hurricanes, but
so
from the little research we did, more people died from the hurricanes than they did the fires, you know. So I feel like that would at least warrant equal coverage.
Well, yeah, I mean, so my take on the whole hurricane versus fire is like they're both natural disasters. They're both tragedies. People died. People lost their homes. It's horrible. But the thing I start to take issue with is the coverage, the unequal coverage. I mean, I'm not going to out myself here. I didn't watch the Grammys per se. It was on. Someone in my household was watching it, not me.
Is the Grammys, is that music?
Yeah.
Okay.
I cannot tell you how many times that they posted a little thing for you to scan to donate money to the Palisade fires and all this stuff, and nothing for the hurricanes. And don't get me wrong, I understand that the fires were more recent. I get that, not by much, by about 3 months, roughly. Like, but I mean, objectively, there's more damages, more deaths, and still long-lasting effects of the hurricanes that I didn't even know about till I did a little bit of digging. Like I had to look for this information.
Oh yeah.
Because remember, we went on Ground News and we looked at articles, because it shows you like the number of articles they've got for the topic or whatever the main article is. It shows you how many are all the coverage of it. And the wildfires had like 200 something at the time of we were looking at it. And then you look at the hurricane ones and it was like 2, 4, like it was single digits. It was crazy.
Right. And so with that being said, in my opinion, nowadays it seems like, at least compared to what I've been told about the media in the past, or mainstream media, whatever you want to call it, legacy media, whatever, excuse me, that they're showing things that either they want to show or that somebody that pays them wants them to show.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not based on facts. And yeah, like you were saying in the beginning, I feel like it's important for the news to be the news, you know, like when I'm watching the news, I want information about what's going on in the world, what's going on in the country. I want it to be unbiased information. I want it to be as factual as possible. And I don't necessarily want people that I don't know telling me what I should think about those facts.
Yeah,
you know?
like I all of these news channels that now have these anchors on there that now they're some sort of personality now. They're like a big extravagant show, and it's like, oh, tune in to see what they talk about and what their opinions are of it. It's like I don't really care what their opinion is of it. I want to know what happened. Like, hey, did you hear about what happened? No, I didn't. I was too busy getting spoon-fed the opinion about what I should have.
Right, exactly. And a lot of it seems like they're selling the anchors more than they are like the news itself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
like you said, I mean, when you've got wall-to-wall coverage of the same event going on, I mean, you can only have so much actual facts in it.
Right.
And then, I mean, let's be honest. You guys probably see this too if you watch the news. You get 5-minute segments and then boom, pharma ad.
Yeah. Right. Well, and it seems to me like that it's kind of okay. It doesn't seem like it's obvious. Like in my opinion, if you look, especially since we just had the election, right?
Yeah.
Like it's obvious that each network has kind of leans a different way, right? And it's kind of like just a banter back and forth between the networks that have opposing views, right? And it's kind of annoying. Like they're kind of just like arguing each episode about something that the other network said, like either the day before or like earlier that day.
Yeah, can you believe they said this? Or
right. So like that's really what half of it's turned into, especially recently with everything going on politically.
Well, a good thing that you pointed out too with the politics and like so the hurricanes happened before the election.
Mm-hmm.
So the coverage that I remember of them was very polarized.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was both sides attempting to use it as a political bludgeon to beat their opponent with.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have the right over here, like look at the Biden administration and cutting the FEMA spending and look what they did with this and this is what it means and the Biden administration can't handle any of this stuff in there, and they're talking about it. And it's like, okay, well, when you're telling me a fact, FEMA budget cut, okay, don't tack on to it. Look at this incompetence and all that stuff. Let me come to the conclusion of incompetence if that's what I think it is.
Right.
Like, don't sit there and just go, like, well, can you believe that they took this funding and spent it on these things? And it's like, okay. Anyway, what I said is what I said. I mean, I'm tired of it was a political shtick. And then you've got the left over there doing the same thing where it's like, look at this horrendous... was it not readiness or something? I don't know. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't watch a lot of the news because it kind of made me sick the way they politicized it all. It's like, it's a tragedy, people died, people lost their homes, all this stuff. Why is this a political talking point?
Right. I mean, do you think like the people in the fires or the hurricanes that were affected or still being affected, do you think they really care about everything that these guys are saying on the news, the news?
Yeah.
Like, no, they just want to get their house rebuilt, or drained, or, you know what I mean? Like, they don't care about all that.
Get their house drained.
Like, just help them, like, get the house drained, get the ashes swept up. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah. No, I saw a funny meme where it was the pictures of the Palisade fires, and it was like the only thing standing was the brick chimneys, and someone was like, hey, I'm not saying that I'm not a construction guy, but if the chimneys are whatever those chimneys are made out of, maybe they should have made the house out of that.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm just saying it was a funny meme.
That is funny.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, no, exactly right. I want to know, like, for example, if we're talking about the fires, I want to know the you know, or the because the fires weren't so politicized, but the hurricane was.
Right.
So for like the hurricane, I want to know. I don't want to know. I don't.
The fire's kind of being politicized right now, as far as like whatever they're, the mayor's firing whoever the chief of fire was. For L.A.
Yeah.
And then I think the mayor caught flack too for
because she was like
she left town or something.
She was out of town at some event,
and she's like, "There's like no way I could have known that was happening," and everybody's like, "Well, yeah, you could." So anyway, like the fire's being politicized too. I think.
That's true. I forgot about that.
Resources for the media would be better spent on making sure that these insurance companies are paying out the people of California accurately.
Yeah.
You know, maybe they should be investigating that a little bit more than like who was at fault. You know what I mean? Like the shit's burned down. You know what I mean? Like, move past it and make sure that people get what they need.
Yeah, get the help they need and stop trying to win points or gotcha moments. It's this needs to be an effort where we help alleviate the people suffering.
Right.
So, and the media is not help. I don't think the media helped with that at all.
That's my point. They didn't.
No.
They're highlighting the wrong things.
Yeah.
Within the issue.
Yeah. No. And oh man, I'm so.
And
glad.
that's not an old thing. That's like one of my biggest issues with the media. You know?
Yeah. I'm so glad we're out of the political season now, because my God, the media is insufferable during that time frame.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean,
so it hasn't really slowed down yet.
No, it's still going.
Yeah.
But the thing, back to kind of what I said earlier, like I don't want to sit there and be spoon-fed tailored opinions,
right,
and facts that only apply to what they're trying to say. I want the information, I want the data, and let me figure out what that means.
Right.
Like, I you know what? I'm not the brightest guy out there, but I can usually piece together some news. So, I mean, the coverage between the fires and the hurricanes is one thing, and I think the real difference we're trying to point out here is like how the California wildfires seem to have been run more for some reason. I can't explain why. I can't tell you why they seem to have been aired more than the hurricanes were. But
millionaires forgot how to water their backyards, so everything was dry. The gardeners went on strike.
Yeah, right. Something. Yeah, so I can't tell you why the coverage was different there, but I definitely think it was from everything we've seen. Like, once again, I don't know why.
Oh, it's Hollywood.
Well, if you want to put on, Hollywood, one thing. If you want to put on a tinfoil hat, I mean, you can sit there and say that, because the hurricanes affected more Republican areas, the media didn't care about it, and you can't prove that. I mean, that's a claim. You can't prove it. So I'm not going to sit there and say that that's the reason why. I think they had an agenda during the when hurricanes happened. They had an agenda. They're running with it. That's why it kind of fell by the wayside. And then now with the California wildfires, it's like you said, it's the movie stars. It's California. It's like the front, like Grammys were just happening. So
come on, California likes attention. Right? People in California like attention, right?
Yeah.
You know, that's where all the movie stars live. You know, so
do they live there now?
Probably.
I think they all say they live there.
They all say they.
They say they live there, and they're actually they all actually live in Texas.
That's where their W-2s get sent, at least. You know, they all got like 6 houses everywhere. But.
Redirected to a PO box in California.
They all live in North Carolina.
Well, they moved from they moved from North Carolina during the hurricanes to California. It's like instead of out of the frying pan into the fire, it's out of the flooding into the fire. Yeah.
They went to California to escape the hurricane.
And
straight into a fire.
California's like, psych. Man, I'm insurance companies, man, that's got to be rough right now.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, they're like dropping a ton of coverage, like just not renewing it. It's crazy.
Actually,
yeah. I was reading up on it on Ground News. It was their. What
do you mean dropping who's?
So basically they're changing the coverage in certain locations that are deemed more at risk. So they're finding loopholes in contracts to drop coverage
Of people who are already paying for it.
of people paying for insurance, and whether it's like, oh, you forgot to renew, and oh, your house was flooded. Sorry, you didn't renew like 2 months ago when you're supposed to.
Wow.
Yeah, they're finding ways about it, and I mean, like, I don't know why. I don't know why the media was so focused on like left or right when it should have been focused on insurance.
Right.
Why are you not
Right.
helping?
That's what that's what I was saying. Like they're worried about the wrong thing. It's
Yeah.
crazy. I didn't know that though. That's insane.
Yeah, and
But-
I'm not going to make a blanket statement and say it's all the insurance companies. I'm sure there's
I'm sure
reputable
it's like-
ones doing the right thing. It's
Yeah.
just there's obviously reports of this happening. So
Yeah,
I mean,
probably a little one going bankrupt or something. Like shit,
yeah,
we're not be able to fix this house.
yeah,
we're gonna go bankrupt.
yeah. No,
But yeah, I mean, like, long story short,
like, could you imagine like being near the hurricane and like all the flooding that's going on, but you're in the town over, and then you're like you just really don't like your house or you want to renovate, and you're like, honey, leave all the water and plug all the sinks. And like, oh no, we got flooded.
no, it's like that SpongeBob episode where they move the entire city. It's like,
Oh,
just,
yeah.
like pick up their house, move it over into the water.
Why don't you just take
Put
the
it
city
somewhere else.
and push it somewhere else?
Like, oh, we got to get this insurance money, guys. Come on, push.
Yeah, push it into the flooding. Oh, I thought you meant out of it.
No, into it.
You see those ads for all those like all these sandbags are like, it's like you're looking at a map and they're like, oh man, this is great. We're selling a lot of sandbags. Sandbag company says, and they're I don't know the name of one, Sandbag Inc. And they're like,
There
we're
you
selling a
go.
lot of sandbags to this town. Where's it at? Oh, is it located in the flooding? No, it's just north, or it's just to the side of the flooding. What are they doing with all those sandbags? And they're like redirecting
Building
the
a
flood to hit.
That's
Oh.
funny.
Yeah, but anyway, media.
Yeah, like long story short, in my opinion, I don't know what the definition of news is, but you're not really watching news anymore. You're just watching different people's
Tailored opinions.
tailored opinions, political agendas, you
Yeah,
know,
it's-
financially motivated agendas, whatever. But you're not necessarily watching like facts and
Nah, I don't think so.
yeah.
I mean, I'm sure.
Which I think it would be great
Well-
if there was a TV channel that gave you just that. you
So
know?
that's the you told me a while back. Dr. Phil's starting that media
yes,
thing. Has he done that yet?
It's already up and running. I think I have the app. I forget what it's called though.
Oh, well, okay, but also like,
But no, and that was his whole idea, was like it's fact-based
yeah,
news, you know, merit-based.
yeah. Wasn't it Merit News or something like?
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Merit Street Media.
Yeah.
Street Media is what it was
Yeah.
called. Yeah, Dr. Phil started that.
Interesting. I haven't looked at that. I probably should.
Yeah.
We're complaining about the media right now when there might be a solution that we just aren't aware of.
Yeah, but you don't know because even Dr. Phil has agendas.
Yeah,
you
true.
know? Like that's, you know, I think Twitter, like X, whatever, is probably one of the closest things to what my idea of news is, because you've got community notes and stuff. You got people fact checking each other and stuff
Mhm.
like that, having like real conversations about things. And it's not
I
necessarily, it's like social media platform, right? It's not news.
I think it's
So
on
it's
the
not
right
focused,
track. Yeah,
but
it's on the right track.
But I would like that model
Yeah.
in a news network.
It's
what I mean?
definitely tailored to what you want to get out of it. So if you want to get the news out of it, you can. But if you just want to sit there and argue with people that you don't agree with, you can certainly just do that as well.
Right.
But I agree with what you're saying. Like the community notes is interesting.
Yeah, like a news network that kind of worked like
So
that like
that's-
talked about topics.
Yeah.
And had different people on that, you know, could debate about those topics and everything, and just had an open,
Well,
you know,
for the first
debate.
time, for really the first time, I'm starting to see a lot of quote alternative news sources now.
Mhm.
Straight Arrow News is one that I'm seeing. That's I'm seeing they're sponsoring or whatever a bunch of YouTubers who are more of the journalistic YouTubers.
Nice, okay.
Ground News has been doing that, and I mean we use Ground News, so we're well aware of that.
Mhm.
That's an interesting tool to use. So I mean there's alternative media out there to the mainstream media, but also I mean we got, I don't know, it's so. I think the veil's been lifted.
Mhm.
You know, I think people nowadays know that the media is what it is now. It's not.
It is, yeah, for sure. I mean, it's just too obvious. Like I said, we think back to the elections and just think about how each network before President Trump won. Just like think about how each network portrayed each candidate. Like they were obviously picking sides. You know, it was pretty obvious.
Yeah, it's just.
And then, like even before that, like all the COVID stuff. You know, they were obviously not giving factual information. You know, and they might not have known it was misinformation at the time, but they also didn't know that it was 100% fact. Like the research wasn't done, and they were sharing that information with people.
Yeah, like the vaccines. We're not going to get down that rabbit hole of COVID-19.
I just no. I don't.
No. I know you're not trying, but I was going to say something that was going to open the rabbit hole. So I'm going to.
No, I mean, there's just a few examples that shows that they're obviously not.
The one example I want to talk about before people immediately click off because they're like, I didn't click on this to listen to COVID-19. Okay, we're not going to talk about it. I just want to make one point with what you said, an example, so that way we're not just making a claim and. We're not making a claim and then moving on. We're kind of backing up what we've said. So it's well known now that's the Pfizer, when they did their COVID-19 vaccine. First off, they're therapeutics, they're not vaccines, but that's for a different time. Their COVID vaccine. They admitted under oath that they did not test for that it stops transmission, the vaccine. They had the director or whatever her name was.
I didn't know that.
Yes, she was testifying. Don't know where. I think this was 2022 or 2023. But she basically they talked to her and they said, "Well, did you test for transmission?" Because I'm gonna say this. We were told at the very beginning, get the vaccine. You can't give someone COVID, and then it shifted. It shifted to you can still give COVID, but it won't be as bad. Whatever. My point is they made a claim at the very very start, and we found out a couple years later that they lied. They did not test for transmission with the vaccine when they were testing it.
Well, and it's
so
as far as like the media is concerned, that's like. Not even the fact that it was a lie, like they just didn't know and they were sharing that information. Like to me, back like the news was trusted like as a source of like information that you could like make decisions.
Oh, the trust in media dropped during COVID.
Yeah, that's my point. Yeah, that's my whole point in bringing it up. Like just think about like the masks in the beginning. Like masks did absolutely nothing, but they were pushed so hard that everybody needed to wear masks. Well, masks are so important.
One step further. You need masks? You don't. You need masks? You don't. You need masks? Right. You don't. Like it was back and forth, and I'm like, okay, it's one or the other. It can't be changing whether you need them or not. It's either you need them or you don't. And yeah, there's a ton of that. Another thing the media I think did that where they played their opinion way too much was with Joe Rogan. Mm-hmm. What they did to Joe Rogan, with using that filter on him.
I was thinking about the whatever he took. The horse tranquilizer stuff.
Ivermectin.
Yeah, like
anti-parasitic. So he took ivermectin and he did other stuff. I'm not going to sit here and say one or the other, but Joe Rogan took this medicine. He got over COVID. Whether the medicine helped or not, I don't know. But when he was talking about it, he posted an Instagram video. To those of you who've seen this, you obviously see it. You know what I'm talking about. If you haven't seen it, I highly suggest you try to find it.
Yeah, I have no idea what you're talking about.
So he posted a video on Instagram where he was talking and the phone was like down here, and so it's like a down shot looking up at him, and he's talking, and then the media took it, left-wing media took it and shared the video. Turns out they ran it through a yellow filter to make him look sick.
Oh really?
Oh yeah, no joke. See, they took his video, ripped it from Instagram, and then put the filter on it to make him, because you watch it, you're like, he doesn't look good. Like he's talking about how healthy he feels, how he's doing ivermectin and the antibodies, whatever that one was, and he's talking about it, and it's like you're watching it from the news side. You're like, oh god, he looks bad. Yeah. Like, oh god, he's not doing good. But then you look at the actual video and he looks fine.
Yeah.
And they ran it through a yellow filter. And then they had the gall to come out and go, oh, well, no, we didn't edit it. No, we didn't edit it. And then they're like, well, why is it different? And you're like, formatting issues.
No. Okay.
They're like, well, when we got the video, it was in a different format.
Then
So
you
to get the format to match to get it to work, blah blah blah, tech stuff. That's why it's yellow and he looks sick.
Okay, we'll fire your editor then.
Yeah.
Fire whoever did that.
Yeah. So anyway,
See,
another
that's
example of the
crazy.
media like giving an opinion. They're trying to like
Yeah,
what they should have done is just said Joe Rogan took these medicines. He's doing better. Here's a video from him, and then just showed the video. But instead, they're like, "Look at this guy taking."
They said they gave their opinions about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was. I mean, yeah, it's wild. Look it up. It's
Yeah, that's crazy.
kind of hard to find. You can find like still shots of the difference.
Yeah,
But if you find the video, it is hilarious.
yeah, that's crazy. See, in the middle of a pandemic killing millions, here's this dude just trying to share what's helped him, and they're like, bad. That's funny. See,
Pfizer's over there like, hey guys, what do you guys? What's your story gonna be? Oh, Joe Rogan took some ivermectin. He's better. Add a filter to that.
Yeah.
And the story is he looks like crap.
yeah. And change the name ivermectin to horse tranquilizers.
Dewormer.
Horse dewormer. Sorry, that's even better.
Yeah. I will, yeah. Anyway, there's endless stuff with how
Yeah.
the media got that all wrong.
But
The point is
the point is that the
Yeah.
media got it wrong, and they. I'm not
The media-
accusing them of doing it on purpose, but I'm kind of accusing them of doing
Well,
it on purpose.
I'm gonna say the media got it wrong, and nobody was calling them out on it until Elon bought X, Twitter,
Well, yeah, no-
and then all this stuff started coming to light with the potential backroom deals going on with the government and these sites.
Mhm.
And I say this because I should probably dig down into it. I'm not telling you this is what happened, but there's been speculation and there's been some committee hearings and there's been all this stuff, this flack being thrown up. But basically, all these media outlets are like, we were told to do this. We were told to say all this. It's like, I mean, okay, let's say that's true. That's breaking, like, that's like not very, I don't know, what's the term I'm looking for? Like, not honorable, but not journalistic, whatever, integrity. It's not very, you don't have very high integrity if you're just going to sit there and just spout propaganda. And the flip side is, if they didn't, then you really suck at your job.
Well, it honestly, it sounds like it all comes down to like a couple like pieces of wisdom we give to 5-year-olds, right? Like if your friend jumps off a bridge, are you gonna follow him? You know what I mean?
Media companies with Joe Rogan and yellow filters.
Like, well, I mean, like it's like they're pointing fingers, like, oh, well, he told me to. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
well, if like your friend told you to, like, I don't know, stick your hand in an alligator's mouth, are you gonna do it? Like it's the same idea. Like it doesn't, like, my point is it doesn't matter who told you to do it. You did it.
Yeah.
You know what I
So
mean? That's my point.
The media has
like they're
lost a lot of credibility.
if not all credibility.
Yeah.
Like I don't, in my opinion, they don't have any of my
Yes,
credibility.
my opinion as well. I think it is an overwhelming majority opinion now. Trust in media is all time low, but I won't speak for everybody.
Yeah, it's become something that isn't even the news anymore. Like
Nope.
it shouldn't be labeled the news. In my opinion, it should just be labeled reality
Propaganda
TV.
number 1,
Yeah.
propaganda station number 2,
Right. Yeah.
propaganda station number 3.
Yep.
Slightly more left-leaning propaganda, slightly more right-leaning propaganda.
Which is important, I think, for us to talk about, and I'm glad we're talking about it because you need facts to be able to think critically. You know what I mean? You need to know that the information that you're getting is the information. Well, like, you don't necessarily have to in order to think critically, but I think it would be a lot easier and would make the entire nation a lot smarter. I think it'd make them a lot better off. I think it'd allow them to make more well-educated decisions if they didn't have to worry about the information they were getting,
Well, also, I mean,
Like, and people don't have time to go on and Google, and check every single source that they're getting their information from. Like, people don't have time to do that.
yeah, you need someone you can trust to get the news from. And I
Right.
think we're seeing a resurgence in independent journalism coming back.
Mm-hmm.
Independent journalism 20 years ago is way different than what it was the past couple of years.
Yeah.
Independent journalism, in my opinion, was just paid shill. Like it's the same. It was among the same avenue of, hey guys, we did these tests or big pharma funding tests for medication. It's like the company who's trying to sell the drug paid for the drug research and pays the salary of this person and all this. It's like, and we expect this to be a legitimate study.
Right. Yeah.
like you need an independent person to do that. So for journalism, it was the same thing. It was like journalism's like, oh, you journalists are being paid to cover that. Well, you're not just covering it. Like, which maybe I'm sounding kind of ignorant with how that stuff works, but like in my opinion, it's not so much. You shouldn't be like, hey, here's $10,000, write this story. It should be you wrote this story because you wanted to educate or inform people, and whatever pertains to it. Because I can tell you right now, if you're being paid to write an article, you're going to be a bit more nice to the people paying you.
Yeah.
If it's an article that could potentially be damaging. So
100%. Yeah. I think that like the internet has there's a big reason that the independent journalism has been able to get a foothold again. You know what I mean? Because before that, I feel like it was probably monopolized. You can't. Before the internet, all you had was newspapers and TV networks.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it was harder for people who actually just wanted to get the news out there to get it out there. And now it's a lot easier, and I'm happy to see that happening more and more.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. My takeaway from all this is just the media's in this weird turmoil spot where I think people are waking up to it, but they're also trying desperately. They're grasping at their pearls. Like, oh crap, no, we can't give up our power. And it's like, it's happening whether you like it or not.
Yeah, I mean, well, the people that want to make their own decisions, the people that want to think for themselves, want it to happen.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like that's becoming the majority. I don't think anybody wants to be a robot anymore.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Which
people are waking up, and that's part of the reason. I mean, to listeners out there, we have a Navigate the Noise segment.
Mm-hmm.
Where we talk about news articles going on, and we dig past the headlines. We try to look at more of what's actually happening versus what does this article particular, what do they want us to think, what does this one want us to think, and we kind of deep dive a little bit into something going on in the news.
Right. Is the headline itself trying to get us to think something, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if any of you are interested in that, I highly suggest you check out our Navigate the Noise episodes.
Mm-hmm.
They're short. I mean, I wouldn't call us a news podcast.
Oh, by God, no.
But we do like to sit there and kind of tear into articles time to time. So.
Yeah. I think it's just interesting that you can decipher different things just from one article, you know, which is what we do.
So, that's our Navigate the Noise, digging past the headlines.
Yeah.
So little
navigating the noise. That is
throwing our. I'm advertising for our own show within our show.
Throwing our hat in the ring.
Yeah. Because we're definitely reputable individuals who have the long career of outstanding, ethical, fact-driven reporting.
We're definitely credible sources for sure.
100% unrivaled.
Yeah. Well educated. My MCAT score is 172.
Casually, camera.
But not at all. I just watched what's that show about the girl who ran that poker game, Molly's Game on Netflix. It's a great movie.
Oh.
And her MCAT score was 172, which I think is good. So I said it.
That
but
sounds
no,
good.
I've never taken the MCAT. That's not even law school. That's doctor stuff.
I think so. Yeah, I don't even know.
LOL.
Anyway,
you heard it here first.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Anyways, yeah, media's not really what it was anymore.
Nope.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get back to the glory days of Ron Burgundy. I'm surprised we didn't talk about Anchorman sooner.
Shit, that was probably the beginning of the end. Start of the downfall. That freaking movie. Oh my goodness.
Those are good movies.
It's funny. It's so stupid though.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks for listening, tuning in. Give us a like, follow, subscribe, share, do the things, press the buttons. Hopefully the thumbs up buttons. Yeah.
I mean, just think for yourself. Do some research on some independent journalists and find out exactly where your information is coming from.
Yep. Don't be spoon-fed opinions.
Yeah.
Come up with your own.
Yeah.
Yep. So, thank you for listening, and we'll catch you next time.
Bye, Mom.